not paid to be a role model. I am paid to wreak havoc on the basketball court.
There's the pass to Leitner. Puts it up. Yes! Is it the shoe?
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been.
One of the world's most talented athletes is retiring. It is true what somebody said today. There was Babe Ruth and Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky.
Gretzky in front. Saved by Flaherty. The rebound. Score!
Favre just threw it perfectly right over him to Corey Bradford. Only Brett Favre could do that. I don't care what you say.
This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Game on!
Game on!
WHPC Sports Talk Wednesday. I'm joined by only two. We on the short bus today. I'm joined by two, Nico each, Ross Levine and myself, Eric Williams. I'm the host today. And how we feeling?
Wet.
Same. Wet.
Wet. Very wet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's real disrespectful outside.
Yeah.
Like, why is it pouring like that?
I don't know.
Did it
But
slow
that's why
down?
we are missing someone today. Unfortunately.
Yeah, because people can't drive.
People can't drive.
People can't drive. I'm gonna just start flying everywhere.
Is that the move?
Caught me a pair of wings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Drink a Red Bull.
Ooh.
Sports.
Yeah, I mean it's not a lot going on, but we got some stuff to talk about.
Do we?
Yeah, for sure. Come on, like look at the NFL section of the topic sheet.
Josh Allen should not be considered for MVP.
Okay.
In no way.
No, we'll
get to that.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that for sure. We'll get to that. But last night, the Knicks squeezed out a win last night, of course, in the Garden against the Cavs with the final score of 105-103. Now being 26-23 and 7th in the Eastern Conference. Where can this team finish?
Probably a play-in team. I'm gonna say at best. I really don't see them being much better than that. When you look at their schedule, they have one of the hardest schedules in the NBA down the stretch. So I don't see them being a top 6, maybe even top 5. 7th is kind of, or 8th. I guess that's kind of where I have them. Honestly, I mean, unless they make some sort of trade, but that I will say this about that win, and it's a good win. I will say that's a very good win against a good team. But the one downside, when you watch Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland and you watch R.J. Barrett on the Knicks, my God, it is so much different.
You should have made the trade.
It was so. It was right there. It was right there, right on your fingers, and you let it slip away. And that is what's going to get everybody. If this fails, everybody's going to get canned because of
definitely.
this.
Definitely Leon Rose. I mean, he played a big part in it. You know, he didn't want to give away R.J. Barrett because he was a potential star in the making. And he's not even in the conversation for being an all-star at that. So, I mean, and you look at Donovan Mitchell, he's probably having one of his best years in his career so far. So, you definitely had to pull the trigger on that trade. I mean, there's no question about it. He's a superstar in this league, and he's established. So, would this team be like? I understand the team would be in a different place with Donovan Mitchell, but where would you see them finishing if they had Donovan Mitchell?
Top 3, I think, in the conference.
I think at the very least, I'm going to say 4th seed, just because 3rd at best, 4th seed, but because they would have won a lot of those close games. They would have. Those games that they blew to teams like Dallas, the game that they lost against Chicago where Brunson missed those few free throws, the game against Toronto at the Garden, those to me were wins if Mitchell's on the team. I could confidently say that. And again, not saying Barrett's a bad player, but you can't, when he makes a 3, you're like, wow. You're surprised. you were overly surprised when Mitchell made. It's like, yeah, I expect it. That's the difference. And listen, we know this, and I know for a fact that everybody would blame the Knicks if they made the trade, because if Barrett went to Utah and he shot the ball well, everybody would be like, yep, they should have kept him. Here's what I'll say. This is a year 4, and he still is not a great shooter. He is not a great shooter. So I don't know why that would all of a sudden change because he goes to a new team. Like, shooting is, if you're not a good shooter, you're not a good shooter. Right. That's just a fact. So, like, they should have made the trade, and now they're holding up on these picks for what? So, and that's where I guess I have the problem with the front office a little bit. It's like, well, we're going to judge Tom Thibodeau if he's a top 6 seed, and even if he is, if he loses in the first round, it's fired. Well, when you don't make that trade, you should know what the expectation is. Like, you can't expect your team to be better without Mitchell. You're going to be better with him, and you didn't make the trade. So, they have to wow me at the trade deadline for me to say they're a top 6 seed now.
And you brought up the point of RJ Barrett. What if he played better in Utah? I mean, obviously, it's not a lot of spotlight out there because you are playing in a garden, the mecca of basketball, and the mecca of sports, really. And if you send him out to Utah, it's not really a lot of spotlight on him. It's not a big market. It's definitely not as big of a market as New York, but if you look at a player like Lauri Markkanen, you sent him out there, he was averaging 14 points last season, now he's averaging 25. So you see the difference that makes, because not only is there no spotlight for him to be focused on, but that team is it's a young team, so you can really do whatever you want on a team like that.
Yeah,
so
they're not a great team.
Seeing that out of Barrett.
You're seeing what Barrett had 16 points. It's not like he... okay, but it's not. He's not. Yesterday he was good defensively, but overall he's not consistent. He's not consistent defensively. He's not a great shooter. You look at NBA player, what they do well. Usually, I would say defense, shooting, rebounding, assisting. Well, he's not a great defender. He's not a great shooter. Rebounding, hit or miss. I'd say mostly a miss. And he's not also great at the free throw line at times. So what is he elite at? I don't really see it. With Mitchell, it's good at most of everything.
Yeah, because he could find his way to the basket. He has a shot. Some people question his defense, obviously, but when you can score like that every night,
you live with it.
Yeah,
you can live with the issues defensively, and also you have guys that are decent enough defenders on the team that could overcome it, but I don't know when the next star is going to come around. It's why you should have made the trade.
Well, if you want to call in, join in on the topic at hand. Number is 516-572-7440. And I remind you, you are listening to 90.3 WHPC Sports Talk. And the thing I want to point out about last night's game, it's not even about the Knicks. The thing that surprised me the most was I think the Cavs only had 12 bench points. You can't win a game like that.
No. The Knicks bench hasn't been very good either. So to lose to their bench, or the Knicks bench to be better than Cleveland's bench, that tells you a lot, I guess.
Yeah, Obi Toppin off the bench had 11 points. Quickly added that to 9 points. Add that to Hartenstein's 4, McBride's 3. It's 27 points off the bench compared to the Cavs' 12. I mean, if you give them at least 5 more points off the bench, you win the game. But I guess that's where it comes in, where the Knicks bench is just it's not really that good and up to par. And with guys I don't know if Quickly is really on the trade block or not, but do you put him on the trade block at this time?
If you're going to be sellers, then yes. If you're sellers. Now,
right.
I would say I've always said I'd rather trade Barrett than Quickly, just because I think Quickly, he's like their glue guy. Barrett, I don't know. When Barrett's not on the court, I don't really miss him a ton. And I guess that's not a good thing for when it comes to a 3rd overall pick. And it's a shame that it's nothing against Quickly because Quickly's been great, but where was Quickly drafted? Like late first round, second round?
Yeah, late first round.
So I'm saying that a late first rounder has more of an impact that does everything well more so than a third overall pick. I mean, that's not great. It's nothing against Quickly, but that's not a great look for Barrett.
No, it's not. Especially with the draft class that he came out with, John Morant and Zion Williamson. So, and the Knicks obviously wanted those two players over Barrett, but they had to settle. And the Knicks' luck in the draft is just you down at number 4. You got Porzingis, got Frank Ntilikina at number 9.
Oh boy,
and you got Obi Toppin, you don't even play him. I mean, he's definitely a prospect in the making. And even with that, do you put Obi Toppin on the trade block now?
Only if you're going to get a good player in return, like a really good player in return.
So what's a really good player in return?
I don't know. Josh was talking about doing like a 1-for-1 for OG Anunoby.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, personally, as a Raptors fan, I would gladly do that trade, 1,000%. But I don't know if that's the move for the Knicks.
It might be the move for the Knicks because maybe Tibbs will finally give a guy some playing time. I mean, you're wasting talent on the bench at this point. I mean, he had 11 points last night. I mean, how many minutes did he play? 10 minutes. 11 points in 10 minutes.
You're going to have to either get rid of Tom, get rid of Randall, or get rid of Toppin. You're going to have to get rid of one of those three for this to work because it's not going to work with three guys. But listen, Randall's been, as much as people didn't like him last year, and rightfully so, he's been great this year. He has. That's right. He's an all-star. So, and they gave him a 4-year deal. So maybe they plan on Randall being the main guy going forward. And that should have been a sign right there for Toppin. I think that they don't really think too much highly of Obi Toppin because they would have just let Randall go if they had the chance, or they would have just traded him.
Yeah, and I think their best shot to trade him was definitely in the off season or before the season started. It's really it's a sticky situation the Knicks are in because you don't know what this team is. They're middle of the pack, and you don't really want to be middle of the pack because you're not moving the needle at all. You're just in the middle. You're getting mid round draft pick. You don't know what a player like that can be. I mean, you could be a stud or you can be a bench warmer at that point.
But you see, this is why I said they needed to you tear down the roster. You would have, yeah, sure. You would be really bad. I'm not saying you're going to be good. But you would get 6-7 first-round picks for this roster, and you actually you hire Kenny Atkinson, you hire a coach that knows what rebuilds are like, and then you start from scratch. You don't do it halfway. The Knicks always do this. They always do it halfway, or they're in this spot where they're either not good enough to make the playoffs and not bad enough to get a pick, or they'll rebuild, but they don't fully commit to the rebuild. That's the thing. They always are we'll buy ourselves time, we'll get a few veterans, and then we're okay. But they never go all the way with the rebuild. Even when they won 17 games, they didn't go all the way. They thought they were actually pretty good, which is sad. Phil Jackson thought they were a playoff team, a 17-win team.
Yeah, Phil Jackson was definitely up there in the box, smoking that green
triangle offense.
That was going to work in 2015. Come on, and that's you come to New York. And when the Knicks are doing good, New York is on fire. But then, even when they're doing bad, they still sell out.
Yeah.
So it's there's nothing for them to because I'll tell you exactly why they don't fully go into a rebuild, because they just feel all right, we're selling out the crowd, we're still bringing in money. It doesn't matter, we just do what we want.
Yeah, no, I get it. They're not going to, listen, the Knicks are never going to ever, once they got Brunson, they're never going to fully commit to a real. They're never going to do that. I get it. But you want to be above. You want to be average, or you want to be a championship team. And I think the way you do that, if you're not going to get stars, because you need stars, you got to be really bad for a while, know how to draft properly, and then you build it back up then. To me, they did this all wrong, and listen, the one thing I'll give the Knicks credit for is that they got a point guard. That's it. That's the one thing I'm going to give them credit for. But the problem is they did it too late. They did it way too late. They should have done this years ago. Because by this point, unless you're going to build around Brunson, it makes no sense. It really doesn't.
It doesn't make any sense because, like you said, I mean, the team is up in the air at this point. You don't know what you're going to do, and the best thing for you to probably do is blow it up. But you just signed Brunson, who you think you want to build around. And do you feel like he's really the type of player to build around? No, right?
He's a great player, but no.
No?
I don't think he's that you build around him. He's a good player, though, but no.
He's like a player you add to a team that's being built around another player.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we never know with the Knicks, because in another 5 years we could be going through this again with like a whole another roster shuffle. And maybe it's just Brunson still there from this team. You never know. I mean, and especially with this big contract they gave Barrett, I mean...
Yeah, they did. The only reason why I think they did that is because they want to make the third overall pick worthy. That's number one. Number two, they know the history of the Knicks never giving second contracts to top picks. That's the reason why they did that. They didn't do this, and also they believed that Barrett's a superstar, and he's not.
He's not.
He's not even close.
And
So,
I don't think he'll ever be a superstar, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and that's why if this team ever wins a championship, or even just goes deep in the playoffs, not even saying championship, the people that are here right now are not going to be here. That's why. Because they didn't make the trade, and they were holding on to these draft picks, either A, because Dolan told them, hey, you're going to be around here, so it's okay, you don't have to pull the trigger now, or B, they're seeing how bad this is now, and if Barrett is really bad, everybody's can't. Like, Barrett basically has their organization on his shoulders, essentially, and that's a mistake. You should not have one player on your shoulders. That is mistake number one. You just shouldn't do that with any player. You want to do that with a superstar like Donovan Mitchell. You want to do that with, like, LeBron, Kevin Durant. Do that with those guys. Fine. But not with Barrett. He is not there yet. He just isn't. And it's why they should have either made the trade for Mitchell or they should have blown up. Because at this point, you're stuck in the spot where you don't want to be in. You never know what you're going to get with the Knicks on every given night, except maybe they'll play hard. I think they'll play hard, but they're not going to wow you. They're just not.
And they'll only play hard because of their coach. I mean, you know, for some reason they're still playing for Tibbs, but he's not the coach to get it done.
No.
He's not.
No, listen, down the road, it's why Kenny Atkinson would make so much more sense. For a rebuilding team, he makes perfect sense. Is he there? And again, the next coach that they get, give that man 4 years. Give that man 4 years. You got to be patient with that next coach then, because it's going to be a long process.
Well, you hope it's Kenny Atkinson, but
yeah.
We do have our first caller today on WHPC Sports Talk. Caller, what's your name and what do you want to talk about?
What's up, y'all? It's Joshua.
Josh!
Oh.
Josh, my baby.
See, I usually, if I'm not able to make the show, I don't be having time to listen in, but had the time today, y'all having a good conversation on the Knicks. And there's something Ross said about the Knicks playing hard. Like, I realized something yesterday. So I'm watching a little bit of the game. I got home from calling the Nassau Lions win last night. Selfless or shameless self-promo, I know, but I got home, watched the fourth quarter. It was a good win. It was the best win of the season because it's the first time I feel like all season the Knicks finally beat a good opponent fully healthy. Like, usually when the Knicks have big wins, it's like, oh, but against a good team, right? They're missing so-and-so star. Like, I can go up and down the line, but they beat I know Mitchell was hobbled and he had an injury flare-up at the end of the game, but that's a good win, 2-point win at home. You protected your home court against a good team fully healthy. That's number one. But I realized something about the Knicks where it's like, yo, what's this team's identity? Like, does anybody know? I'm trying to figure it out. Your identity just can't be playing hard, Ross. Like, I get
agree.
it, but if it's like every team in the NBA, I know the NBA players give effort sometimes. It's very sometimey, but most of the time teams play hard. So the fact that the only thing you can really say about the Knicks, they don't really play defense, even though Tibbs is a defensive coach. They're not a powerhouse on offense. They're just, I've said it, they're mid, but if you're going to be mid, at least like the Heat, they have Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, some players with personality, they're stars, they've won before, they've gotten to the finals before. Other teams like the Sixers, they have Harden and Embiid. Like the Knicks are just, if you're going to be mid in the middle of the pack, you can at least have like one exciting player. Like, like Jalen Brunson's a nice player, he's steady. RJ Barrett's averaging 20 points. It's not really fly off the page, high wire 20 points. I mean, Julius Randle's having a bounce back year, but it's a bunch of Jags. Like, they're just guys. Like, I don't. There's no excitement. I think the Knicks are just content with being, because like Ross said, they were 17-65 and they were losing all these games. And with Phil Jackson, they were the laughing stock of the league and all that. And I think that really bothered James Dolan. So I think he's just really content with, even though the fans aren't, he's content with, well, we'll just be average and we'll sell out tickets when LeBron comes to the Garden and John Morant comes to the Garden and Steph Curry comes to the Garden, and we'll be that fun attraction until we get a star. But it's just like, if you're going to do that, at least have some excitement. Like, it's a tough watch, especially when they're not playing well and not making shots.
They to me, they're not. If they were going to be mid, they're not a good team. That's what I say. If you're mid, you're not good. That's my opinion. You're just not a good team.
And the Knicks aren't good.
No.
I mean, the thing is, like, I'm trying to keep perspective as a Knicks fan. Like, I'm trying, like, they were so bad for so long, and now I think they're 3 games over 500, and it's a better season than last season, but I'm trying to talk myself into this team being like, yeah, last season sucked and the past sucked, but, they're mid now, so I guess that's better. But it's not, like Eric said, it's not moving the needle. Like, Randall, I don't know. It's frustrating because I don't want to talk about the past, and we could have had Donovan Mitchell and all that, and we could have had this guy and that guy, but it is what it is now. And I would say trade Randall while his value is the highest, but they're not going to do that. They gave him a new contract, and he's touring Dallas with Leon Rose after last season, watching the Mavericks playoff games, and so he's clearly their guy. I would trade him and give RJ the keys, and I don't really necessarily agree with that because you know how I feel about RJ Barrett when he's not playing well. But it's just a lot of conflicting stuff. I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. Again, I don't know the direction. I feel like you're just happy with, all right, we'll be average. We won't be a laughing stock, but we also won't be good enough to move any needles. I guess they're fine with that.
I think the reason this team isn't performing to their highest potential is the coach. It has to be the coach. I'm sorry, it's the truth. If you have a coach like, for example, I'm just giving you an example. If you have a coach like, I want to say Monty Williams, and I'm not even being biased to my own coach, but he's a good coach. He's a player's coach. Not saying Tibbs isn't a player's coach, but he's more engaged and he likes to give players opportunities, and Tibbs is just not doing that.
You said it perfect. Give players opportunities, and you guys brought up, I was listening, you guys brought up Obi Toppin. I'm talking about the Knicks being boring. This kid is the most exciting thing we have going, and Tibbs is perfectly fine with him being a spot-up shooter every night. When you've seen Obi Toppin at his best, he's running up and down the court, he's catching alley-oops. When's the last time you saw Obi Toppin catch alley-oop dunk?
When the season started.
Maybe preseason, but that's crazy. It's a bunch of square pegs and round holes. I don't understand what the Knicks are. I remember me and Ross used to talk about that with the Yankees. It's a bunch of spare parts, and they're just trying to glue it back all together. I just don't understand. Obi Toppin should be getting a lot more opportunity. 11 points in 10 minutes. And the thing with Tibbs, and he's a good coach when let me correct that. He has been a good coach in the past. With the Knicks, I haven't been satisfied, but the players like him. But it's stuff like this where, again, you can play your starters heavy minutes all you want, but the fact that this guys like Obi and Quickly, and they're playing well, and it's all you have to stick to your rotation. Nope, Julius, get back in after Obi Toppin makes his 4th 3 in a row. Like, it's Julius's time. Like, you have to be able to make adjustments and coach on the fly, and that's something. I feel like, you know how I feel about Tibbs, guys. I feel like he's like the laughing stock of the NBA. Like, I'm serious.
I don't.
I mean, he's a good coach.
Like teams just go into halftime. The Knicks might be doing well, and they're just like, all right, we know this guy's not going to make any like adjustments. We know what this guy's going to do. Like, if he just play our game, we'll be fine. And then it happens every single time. The Cavs almost came back yesterday, too.
Yeah, but I don't think the Knicks are. Maybe people disagree with me, but I don't think the Knicks are equipped to win close games. I just don't. I don't think their roster is equipped to it. I don't. It's not even just it's not just the coach. Is it part of it? The coach, yes, but you look at the players. Like, okay, this is the first time Brunson's had the ball the whole time. He doesn't have Luka Doncic right next to him, so that's one thing right there where it's like, maybe it's not equipped to closing games or crunch time. Julius Randle, can turn the ball over. You have also R.J. Barrett, that's not a great shooter. You have certain guys that don't have they're not great offensive shooters as is. So they're not equipped to winning close games. That's just my opinion. It's not just the coach, it's also the players. And I also think as well, even though they're maybe okay to start games, when they're only good, in my opinion, because the other team doesn't try as hard. They're not good when the other team tries hard. When you just give effort, you'll beat the Knicks, and that's the thing.
2 things, because it's funny you say that, because you say play hard, and all I'm thinking about is the Raptors. Those Raptors over there, because their whole identity is try hard.
Yeah,
that's their whole thing. So when you're playing a team like that and you're up against that, it doesn't really matter. Playing hard is not going to make a difference. And the last thing I'm going to say is, like, with Tibbs and the reason why the Knicks can't win close games, it's what wins we've talked about it with football, like what wins in the NFL, good coaching. And then players, I guess, second. We saw with the Giants, they weren't talented enough to win a playoff.
Yeah, they weren't talented, no.
So you look at, adversity with the NBA, I think stars, you have to have a star, or else you can have a great coach all you want. It's not really going to matter once you get to the playoffs. But good coaching definitely comes second. So with the Knicks, you have your coach who's an idiot who doesn't know how to read the game. And then you have no stars on the team. And Jalen Brunson, he has the capability, and he's closed playoff games in the past. We saw it last year. He's a good player. I'm happy the Knicks finally have a point guard. Best one since Clyde, since Marbury maybe, but he's 5'11" on a good day. Like, I love my short kings, but it's not really what you want at the end of games where you have bigger defenders on you. That's why he struggled in those games against Toronto. So I don't know. When I'm hosting and I try to talk about the Knicks, it's just hard to like bring up topics. It's just a boring team. They're just boring. They bore me. Nothing moves the needle. It's just a bunch of mid coach, mid stars. Great arena, but everything else is just
three words. I have 3 words.
There's nothing exciting or anything about the 16. And that's the way it's going to be until the end of the year, and until they get a start. That's how it's going to be for the next 2, 3, 4 years.
I have 3 words: sell, sell, sell. That's what I do. Blow it up. They should have done that already. They're not good. I'm sorry. They're just not. I'm sorry.
And there's nothing. That's the most depressing thing, is that there's nothing that's going to change that. There's just nothing that's going to change. This season, it's not going to happen. They might trade for OG Anunoby, maybe. I know the Raptors.
Give me Obi. Give me Obi.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's depressing. This is the Knicks. This is how it's going to be. They don't want to be bad. They don't want to be in the Wemby sweepstakes. They don't want to actually trade for Donovan Mitchell and try to contend. It's all bad. It's all bad. But, they're going to sell us, we're 3 games over 500 and we'll make the play-in. And
I mean,
But I'll be sucking it again into it next year.
I mean, I expected a play-in, so I'm not mad. That's what I expected.
I expected it too, but excite me a little bit. Like, draw me in a little bit. There's nothing.
All right, I'll make fun of them. I'll make fun of them every minute. What do you want me to? I'll excite them.
You're right. When Ross goes in on the Knicks, it is entertaining. So I'll give him that. You keep doing that, Ross. Keep doing that.
Yeah, you're shocked.
Yeah, I'll let y'all go on that. Y'all doing a good job. Nico, Eric, I'll see y'all later. All right?
Thanks for the call, Josh.
Hi, Josh. Oh, my buddy.
And if you want to join in the conversation just like Josh, the number is 516-572-7440. And to move on just for a little bit,
do we have to? Do we have to?
Look, just
why?
The Nets.
I give him 2-3 minutes. Come on.
They're New Jersey. They really are.
I mean, they're traveling down the turnpike. They're going to Philly.
I have to root for the Nets.
Ben Simmons is back in Philly. Will he find himself in Philly tonight?
No.
He's not finding himself.
He's ass. He is garbage.
They still win with them, though. Well, Irving.
Well, do you think they can still win tonight?
They'll win. Because of Irving. That's it. It's basically Kyrie Irving, that team, and really nothing else. I mean, Claxton's not bad, but it's not. To me, Simmons puts that team. He sets that team back, in my opinion. That's just that's me. But when you have a superstar, you win.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Simmons definitely he fits the Brooklyn role. Like he definitely if a gentrified New Yorker, right, from Brooklyn was on the Nets, it would be Ben Simmons.
Yeah, that's his little chai latte.
Yep. That's literally Ben Simmons, just a gentrified New Yorker.
Goes to yoga on the weekends.
Yeah, I mean, but I actually forgot to put this on the topic sheet, but the Nets are actually shopping their veterans, Seth Curry, Joe Harris, and Patty Mills.
Wow.
For some upgrades. So, I mean, what can you get back for those 3 players? You just package them all in one trade. What can you
You're not getting a superstar in that trade.
You can get chips and a sandwich.
I hope they make that trade. I really do. I hope they get chips and a sandwich. I really do.
Well,
I would love that.
Yeah, I think KD definitely needs to start eating. He's too skinny out there.
We got another caller on WHBC Sports Talk. Caller, what's your name and what you want to talk about?
It's the guy who's been missed. It's the guy who's not there no more longer on Wednesdays.
Oh, God forbid Corey isn't on the Wednesday show. We'll die. Oh, no.
Hey, no, I'm just calling to call it. Do you think Ben Simmons has tremendously hurt his trade value? And if you're a team out there, would you even think about the possibility of trading for him? Because right now it looks like he's scared to even attack the rim, and it's got to the point where he's being benched sometimes, and he's getting upset. You are not attacking the rim. Nick Claxton is doing everything that you should be doing as a player.
I mean, if you put him in the right situation with the right coach or the right that sets that aggressiveness and that tone for him, I feel like he would thrive in that type of situation. But it's gonna take a lot to get that out of him in the first place. So I mean, the trade value for him is definitely dipped down, but I still think Brooklyn can definitely get a first-round pick out of him.
You think so?
Not a lottery pick. I'm just saying a mid first-round pick, late first-round pick.
I don't even know about that one, because I'm like this. At this point, I wouldn't even put him in the Warrior system because he don't got that dog like Draymond. Like, you'll see Draymond, he'll take a 3. He'll do something, even though it might embarrass him. He'll at least try. I've seen instances where Ben Simmons would get to the rim like, it ain't for me. Like, I seen him trying to back down littler guys, and he just gives up and it's just a pass. I'm like, are you serious? You have no offensive move to your game? At this point, I'm like this. You're actually becoming a hindrance to the Nets than anything.
Ben Simmons, I mean, you just don't know him. I mean, what happened?
What happened?
What happened?
the Monstars came and took his talent.
Yeah, it seems like that.
Like that
He's
needs
really
like
garbage.
I don't care what nobody says. When Ben Simmons retires, there need to be a 30 for 30 on what happens to his career.
We'll never know. I mean,
maybe he's missing like a pinky toe. We just don't know. Throw your balance off.
Maybe you just need to do what Mason Plumlee and Tristan Thompson did. Switch hands.
you said that before. I remember you saying that. That's probably not a bad idea.
I'm like this. When I bet, I'm betting on the under. If it says 10 points, I'm betting the under on the 10 points for him.
And Ben
if
Simmons
it says
would
5
get
points, I'm betting the under for the 5.
and he would get 5 points, so he would get 10 points that one night. Just by your luck.
And the sad part is, he do everything else right. Rebounding and passing, everything right, except
scoring the basketball.
He can't put the basketball in the rim.
Yeah,
which is the main objective of the game.
You 6'9". If I was 6'9" and had some type of talent, I mean, I'd be trying to put the ball in the basket, no matter what.
At least trying.
Exactly.
He's just passing the ball away once he gets to the rim.
Do what Russell Westbrook do. If I can't shoot, I'm just gonna attack.
Yeah, but
eventually he's gonna get tired of me.
He's too soft for that. So
that's sorry. Hey, I know I didn't call on Monday, but Eric, I want to know how you doing, man.
I had a feeling he was gonna go there.
You know, I'm in the same boat. We expect to get there, but you ain't expect that type of beating to happen.
Yeah, y'all exceeded expectations, so it's no reason for y'all to be mad. For me, I was upset. I mean, will you believe me if I said it brought tears to my eyes? Like,
that's crazy. Because I felt like y'all had it was no. I felt like the game. I felt like the game was deadlocked, and like I felt the thing that changed the course was the Tony Pollard injury.
I mean, that my eyes started watering up when that he went down. I mean, and I seen him on that card. I was just like, no, like.
And Brad Marhart was finally making field goals. I mean, was making field goals.
He made 2 field goals.
I'm not going to say that missed one was on him, even though he got blocked. That was on the line for it.
That was
no.
Either way, that wasn't going through.
Yeah, it was still gonna miss. You could see the way the ball was. It was going
wide left. Wide left.
He sent it to Oakland.
I just want to see how then how y'all feel about the games that's coming up this weekend.
You mean the Bengals winning at Burrowhead?
And
is that the
Philly
game you're
winning
about?
in Philly?
Who you said winning in Philly?
Philly.
Oh, you said Philly gonna win?
Philly's gonna win.
I think so, but I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a high scoring game. That's gonna be a real low scoring game because I feel like each defense, like both defenses, is gonna go at it. Just like how the Dallas and Cowboys and the 49ers went at like that. There was really a defensive battle on whose defense was gonna come out and make the most plays. And I felt as though those 2 picks actually played a major part in that game.
Yeah, it did. 6 points on the board. I mean, it was a 9-point swing. We was already in field goal range. You don't know if Brett Maher is going to make the field goal, but still, it's a 9-point swing. You got 3 points right there. Now you're up at that point already. Now, I think what was the score? It was 9-9. So you would have had 12 points going into the half, and then you get ball at half. Now you have some type of momentum. I mean,
good question. As a Cowboys fan, are you looking at the Lamar Jackson situation as possibly something y'all could do?
No.
A trade?
No. I mean, only because
y'all gonna stick with that.
You have to at this point. You just have to. You got it, and the crazy thing is about it, you have to stick with your coach too. And I'm not putting any of this on Mike McCarthy. I'm putting all of this on Kellen Moore and not making adjustments in that game.
Some of it goes on Dak though, because that read to the outside and you just threw it flatly to the defensive back was crazy.
Yeah, that was part of the reason, but I think it was also a miscommunication thing with him and Gallup.
Also, the pick against Fred Warner, that was in double coverage. What is he doing?
Yeah, Jimmy Ward said Dak can't throw against zone coverage. I mean,
yeah, I'm like, why are you throwing it into double coverage? Like you said, that was a gimme for Fred Warner.
It definitely was, and that hurt.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm hoping with every ounce of my bone, I need the Bengals to lose this game
They're
coming
not.
up.
They're not losing in Burrowhead. That's not
I
happening.
do not. Look, and it's not even about the entire team. It's just one person who I don't like.
Eli Apple.
I hope Travis Kelce goes outside and purposely scores 2 touchdowns on that guy.
Yeah, Eli Apple has been on Twitter.
He's going
just
ham,
like,
yo.
they're saying he's the
Patrick Beverly of the NFL.
That's exactly what everybody was saying last night on Twitter. He's the Patrick Beverly of the NFL. I mean,
Cancun on 3, baby.
Bro.
How
Why?
you say that and then post a picture of Darman Hammond? I said, nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Because you know how he is number 3 and he was like throwing up the 3. I'm like,
was he?
Cancun on 3?
Bro, nah. Every time I open my TikTok, I see, was that DeMar Hamlin?
Hey.
Stop.
No, I don't think he's dead. I don't think he was actually there though. I don't think that was him.
Okay, y'all not gonna do the conspiracy shit.
I'm not doing this either because like it's just a whole conversation that I don't want to have. I keep opening TikTok and every time I scroll down, I see it.
The pictures don't lie.
He just wasn't showing his face.
Why not? You gonna tell me it was cold in that booth? Nah.
It was definitely.
It's not
heated.
cold in that press box.
It was definitely heated.
Everybody be wearing the block. Everybody be wearing the everybody be wearing the what's his name?
The shiesty mask?
Huh? Yeah, the shiesty.
He had the shiesty. I mean, yeah, everybody wear it. Come on, and he had glasses on.
Ain't it funny though? They zoom in on him on the broadcast when all the snow's coming down. You can't make out his face.
Oh my god!
You just can't see him.
Nah. He didn't do an interview either.
I mean, why?
It's a little fishy. It's just fishy. It's just fishy.
You taking away?
It's just fishy. I truly wouldn't put anything past the NFL. Truly would not put anything past the NFL.
Hey, when the Bengals lose, I'm putting on that Kodak Black. He never was a superstar. You know that one the song that was directed at the song that they made for Eli, putting that specifically on. Hey, and now,
that means the Bengals are winning by 14.
Hey, before I go, I just got one question for Ross. Do you still give Daniel Jones a long-term extension?
Yeah. Well, you still were going to before this game.
Wait, long term?
No, not
or bridge deal.
Bridge deal.
Bridge deal. Okay.
Bridge deal. He's coming back next season. Whether he played great in that game or he played poorly, he's coming back.
How many years you giving him?
2, 3 years with the ability to get out.
You said I was crazy. You said you give him more.
Well, that's what the quarterback market is now. They're gonna give him a decent amount of money. Daniel Jones.
No, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about years.
He's saying 2, 3 years.
You said more than 2.
I'm gonna say 3. 3 more.
I would give him 1, to be honest.
Yeah,
just give him more weapons, though.
Oh, I agree. I don't blame Jones.
Give him a 1-year deal with weapons. Do that.
Yeah.
See him with 1 year with weapons. And you don't want to commit to 2 more years if he's asked with weapons.
Did y'all see that? What's his name? Joe Namath said he would unretire his number if Aaron Rodgers was to come.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I mean, hey, we got a good market out here. I mean, but he would get killed in the media. I ain't gonna lie.
If he plays bad.
I don't think so.
Nah.
Aaron Rodgers is that one person.
Crazy.
He don't care what the media thinks, so it won't even bother him.
It won't bother him, but they're still gonna kill him.
But
you can't kill someone that.
I think y'all for taking my call. I think y'all for taking my call. I'll see y'all on Friday.
All right, Corey.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that.
Listen, and that's what I was. I'm gonna piggyback off of Corey. I mean, that's what I was gonna go into next. What do you do with not only Daniel Jones, but what do you do with Saquon Barkley?
I feel like they're gonna bring Jones back and they're gonna let Barkley go. I feel like that's just the way it's trending. They're gonna try to get Barkley a contract, but I don't think
you got to get both.
Listen. I think they want both, but when I also heard Joe Shane say about player value, he's not going to put a lot of money into a running back. He's not. Like he's going to have a certain price, and if it goes over the price, he's going to let him go. That's just what I think. You
know, statistically, it's just not like it's been proven that if you give running back all this money, it most likely won't work all the way through the whole contract. I mean, if you look at Ezekiel Elliott right now, I mean, he's having contract problems, and you don't know what you're going to do with him now. I mean, the whole organization is a question right now. You don't know what you're going to do with Tony Pollard. You don't know what you're going to do with Van Der Esch. So I feel like it could be the same thing with the Giants, because even like, all right, say they sign him back, and however much he wants, say they sign him back and you sign back Jones. All right, he has 2 years where he's like still on the same level, but then after that, it's just like he starts going down.
Yeah, we have so many holes on our team. I would not want to put a lot of money into the running back. It's not as good as he is. He has a price. Listen, if he gives him $20 million a year, I'm going to be pretty annoyed. I'm not going to be happy. And Barkley's a great player, I get it, but listen, Barkley said himself he's not going to be the person that opens the market up, and I think he's realistic. That's what it is, because he knows that he was hurt the last couple of years prior to this year, so he's not going to expect more than what he's getting. I think also he wants to be a Giant. I also think he wants to be a Giant. I think Jones wants to be a Giant, but I think they're going to only bring these guys back on their terms. Remember, it's not their guys, so they're only going to do it if it's cheaper, or for their side to be cheaper. If it's going to get to a point where it's a lot of money, like Jones going to get like $50 million, is Barkley going to get this amount of money, they're going to let him go, and I don't have a problem if that's the case.
All right, I mean, this is one thing I will say about Daniel Jones. I don't think you should give him a bridge deal. I'm about to tell you why.
We're not franchise tagging him.
No, not even franchise tagging him. Just give him a 4-year deal. Because if you give him a bridge deal, and let's just say he plays way better than he has in his past years as a Giant, then after that 2-year contract, he's going to want way more. Suppose if you have him on a 4-year contract and he starts playing lights out, not saying he's going to play like Patrick Mahomes or anything, but he's going to, progress. Say that happens. Now you have him on a 4-year contract, and it's like he can't move the money.
Yeah,
but there's pros and cons to both ideas. I just think the bridge deal is the safer way to go. For that amount of money that he wants, bridge deal.
Because you can get out after like a year or two if things are not working. I mean, I think Shane wants these guys back, which is surprising because I did not think he wanted to. But he's also going to be like, if it doesn't work next year, he wants to be in a position to draft his next quarterback, if that's the case. And we have 11 draft picks. We have a lot of picks. So there's always that opportunity, if not this year, next year, if there's good quarterbacks in the draft, go up and get one. And listen, Jones had a great year, or a very good year at least. I mean, he only had 5 interceptions. Only 5. So, like, that's where he was. That's, like, significant improvement.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it really is. Because, like, as a rookie, that was his problem, turnovers. Dable corrected that, and Jones corrected that. And he did this with not a lot of weapons. So if you give him some weapons, then you see if he's good or he's not good. If he's not good then with weapons, then you know your answer. He's not the guy.
Man, I mean,
I think he's good. I don't think he's elite, but he's very good. This year he was very good.
Yeah. For what he had to work with, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, if you're gonna keep him, you gotta get him the weapons. Without a doubt, you have to. I know DeAndre Hopkins is on the trade market, but this is still a rebuilding team. You don't want to just throw away some chips for. How old is DeAndre Hopkins? 31, 30?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do that for a wide receiver in the later part of his career. So
I could just tell based off of Shane's press conference, he's not going to spend a lot of money. I don't think he is. He's going to build this through the draft. We have. He said himself, and I agree with him. We're not one receiver away from winning a Super Bowl. We're just not. We're not even close. We are
multiple pieces. Away.
Yeah, linebackers, interior line, corner. You could make an argument. We could definitely use a backup running back because Breida. I don't think they're going to bring him back. and wide receiver. Like, wide receiver for me is like third or fourth, just because of we need so much help. Maybe we draft a receiver a little bit earlier than expected, but we're gonna prioritize so much more of the positions. And listen, you watch what the Giants did all season, but particularly in that Eagles game, that last game, our linebackers are horrific. They are so bad. And if that doesn't show you need linebackers to compete in this division, I don't know what will, because we cannot stop the run at all. It's pretty bad.
Well, move on from the Giants for now. The NFL finalists were announced of Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, you know, all that stuff. I want to focus on Coach of the Year, though. Now, the finalists are Nick Sirianni, Kyle Shanahan, Brian Daboll, and then a certain name like Sean McDermott.
Ugh.
I don't think he should be up there.
No, I don't think. No, he's. No. I think they're overrated. The Bills. They're so overrated.
Very overrated.
Yeah, they're overrated.
Because
the quarterback's even more overrated. I think.
All right, I'll put it like this. Now, once again, I'm not being biased, but if you put Sean McDermott up there, Mike McCarthy should be up there before Sean McDermott, because Mike McCarthy went through a 5-game span of having a backup quarterback, and they won 4 games out of 5.
Yep.
And it was off of good coaching. I mean, they utilized the run game, and then when Dak came back, and it all flipped.
Yeah, Dave. I mean, this is not me just being a Giants fan. I look at a lot of these teams. And Dable should win this award. I mean, this team is supposed to win 3 or 4 games this year. This was a team that was year 1 of a rebuild. Everybody thought they were going to move off these guys, and this is also a very young team. And he won 9 games, and he made the playoffs. I know it doesn't go in that, but he won a playoff game. He won 9 games. You look at maybe Doug Pearson. Like I'd even consider Doug Pearson a higher than Sean McDermott. Yeah. Because remember where they were. Like that's what I always go by. I go by where these people, where the organizations were before they got here.
Right.
And because you look at the Giants before they got here. It was chaos. Like it was just.
It was
awful.
Dumpster fire.
It was dumpster fire. It really was. It was Joe Judge, the quarterback sneaks, the owner getting in the way too much. Jacksonville with Urban Meyer, like that could not have gotten worse. So like for them to be down there to being up here, one of those two should win it. I
think so too.
Yeah, Sirianni has a stacked roster. I don't know what else. I think anybody could be. Most coaches could be like what they have, their record.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a close call between these 4 coaches and Sirianni, Shanahan, Peterson, and Daboll. It's definitely very close. Because I think even Shanahan should get it. I mean, I've said it before. I think, not to taking credit away from these other coaches, but I think Shanahan should get it because he's had the carousel through 3 quarterbacks this season.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just don't think it should be Sirianni or McDermott. Not at all. I like Nick Sirianni as a coach. I think he's a dog, but not Coach of the Year. Definitely Daboll or Peterson or Shanahan.
Now, if you look at the MVP finalists, right? Now, why even throw Justin Jefferson up there if you know he's not even going to get picked for it? Not even going to get looked at, honestly.
You don't think he will?
I don't see it happening.
I think. I think he's top 3. But he won't get picked, but I think he's top 3.
Well, we do have another caller on the line. Caller, we want to talk about.
Hey guys, it's Frankie from Flushing. How are you?
What's up, Frankie?
You're talking about the Coach of the Year. I think it boils down to the coach that did the most with the least, where Peterson. Yes, are you there?
We had lost you for a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think when they're talking Coach of the Year, I know it's a lot of times the coach that had the best record or went the furthest or whatever.
Right.
But I really believe it should be down to Dable or Peterson. I mean, because I think it should be the coach that has really done the most with the least. Right. I mean, as you said before, to be the coach of the Eagles or San Francisco, although San Francisco did go through that three quarterback thing, which I find impressive with Shanahan. But he's got a lot of weapons there. They're a good team to begin with. Peterson and Dable took two teams that probably shouldn't even finish 500 and got them both into the playoffs, and I think that's where I would cast my vote.
You definitely make solid points there. I can't lie to you. I mean, but
it's easy to win. It's easy to be coach of the year, when you have the Jalen Hurts and you have the defense and you have the offense and you've got all these great players and you win 14 games.
Definitely.
And, if you won 14 games and you were the New York Giants or you were the Jacksonville Jaguars, then you deserve it. I mean, they have nobody, and they made the playoffs. And as Ross said, the Giants actually won a playoff game. So that's a lot to do with coaching, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
Right, yeah. And I think you just swayed me. I think it's definitely going to go Dable. That's who I would pick. Because at least with Peterson, they gave Trevor Lawrence weapons in the second year. They got him Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram. Travis Etienne came back from injury. So at least they have those offensive pieces, and they even drafted defensive pieces like Trayvon Walker. But with the Giants, they just had Barkley. That was it.
Right.
So I think Dable definitely should get it, but knowing the NFL, knowing how they operate, knowing how the voters vote, I don't think he'll get it.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, he did the most with the least. And to me, that's coaching. Getting to the promised land with a great team, it helps, to have a good coach, but it's not necessary. It's sometimes these things take care of themselves when you have a great quarterback, great defensive line, great receivers, and these things take care of themselves sometimes. Right. And Dable definitely did the most with the least, although, like I said, with Jacksonville, I mean, he kept that team going when they were down and out, down by 27 to the Chargers. Mm-hmm. I think coaching has a little to do with that, because you can lose a team in that situation, and, he kept them together, and even the coach, I can't think of his name right now, of Detroit, the Lions.
Dan Campbell.
Right, you got to throw some kudos his way as well. I mean, they were out of it a long time ago, and they were a hair away from getting into the playoffs. So I think you throw his hat in the ring too.
Well, you definitely, again, you make solid points everywhere around the board. But we only got like a minute left on the show, so I gotta let you go, Frankie. But thanks for the call.
Right, you got it, guys. Take care. Speak to you soon.
Take care. Yeah, but any final thoughts?
If Josh Allen wins MVP, I'll riot. He won't win because he's a glorified Kirk Cousins. And if I hear one more person say that he's better than MVP Cam Newton, I might commit arson. I think that's gonna happen. Because I hate people that say that.
You're all the Bills' window's over. They're not winning a Super Bowl with that team. They're never winning it. They haven't even gotten to an AFC Championship game. I mean, with that team, it's insane. But I don't know if it's McDermott, but that team just is not. They're overrated. They're just not that great for playoffs. They're not.
Great regular season team.
Great regular season.
Terrible in the playoffs.
Yeah.
No dog in them. They got wiener dogs in them. That's it.
That will do it for the Wednesday crew. The short bus crew.
Short bus. Definitely short bus.
Short bus crew. That will do it from myself, Eric Williams, Nico H., and Ross Levine. And we will be back from 4 to 5 p.m. tomorrow. Make sure to check it out. Thanks for listening.